Coming up on the Greg and Tim Show podcast.
Like Hazel May needs a burrito stat, and they were like in big bold letters. Is going to be wilder than a cat on. I'm gonna be dropping some here and there. Ohana.
Ohana. It means family.
Your earballs ready, and welcome back to the Greg and Tim Show podcast. Here are your hosts, Greg and Tim.
You see, they say buckle up a lot.
Welcome back to the Greg and Tim Show. I'm the guy that sits across from Tim. I'm Greg. We're going to talk about everything from A to Z, and maybe from Z to A. I'm not very good at doing my alphabet backwards, but we'll try. You never know what you're going to get on this show.
You never know.
You never know.
And I'm Tim, your co-pilot on this roller coaster of randomness. So buckle up, folks, because today's show is going to be wilder than a cat on caffeine. Meow.
Oh, man. And today we're jumping into the world of sports. We're going to talk some NHL. We're going to talk some NFL. We're going to dash in a little bit of Taylor Swift, a little bit of Travis Kelce, just for some flavor. We're going to have a smoothie of sports with less drama and more bananas.
Speaking of bananas, I see your hat. Savannah Bananas. I love it.
This is the bananas all the way from baseballism.
Bucket list for baseball, I think. And let's not forget, although I'd like to, the Grey Cup.
Grey Cup.
Do we have to talk about the Grey Cup?
Yeah, we'll just touch on it.
Touch on it.
We'll do that whole segment in French.
Oui.
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 It'll be short.
Ineligible receiver.
And then we're going to switch it up a bit. What documentary did you watch?
I watched, you sent me JFK, What the Doctor Saw.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, it's not just stethoscopes and Band-Aids and old men with their pants down. So prepare for a medical history lesson with a side of conspiracy theory.
I'm glad I sent it to you to watch because I didn't watch it. And then the burning question of the day. We've been talking about this a little bit to each other. Why are Oakland sports teams packing it up and leaving? Did someone forget to pay the rent, or they're just greener pastures somewhere else?
I've been to Oakland. I'll have a couple stories for you.
Yeah.
An answer to your question.
Is it a beautiful place?
We'll talk about it later. No. Anyway, grab your favorite beverage as always.
I got it. I got mine.
Whether it's a triple shot espresso, which I know you can't have after 7 p.m., or a fancy fruit smoothie.
Full
Cheers,
of bananas.
my friends. Cheers, my friends, because today's show is about to kick off. And as we always say, let's roll.
Okay, let's roll.
We don't have to say it at the same time.
Grab your phone. It's podcast time. It's the Greg and Tim Show. It's the Greg and Tim Show.
It says both. Yeah, but both can be separate. Like we both say it. We don't have to say it at the same time. We're not synchronized swimmers. Okay, retake that.
Nope.
Didn't say it at the exact same time.
We're going to keep it right as is. We're going to start on rolling because today we're doing a little bit of a different kind of an episode. We're going to do as little editing as possible in this episode.
Yeah, Greg's work is busy this week.
I'm very busy this week.
He's got lots of spreadsheets.
So I'm going to be cutting as little bit as out of this show as I possibly can. We're going to get a lot of things.
I'm going to be dropping some bad words here and there.
Perfect.
taking my shirt off periodically.
Oh, man. Speaking of taking your shirts off, thank you for everybody that subscribed to the show this week. We got 27 new subscribers on the dot, which was perfect because 100 subscribers means that Tim keeps his shirt on for the show. If you didn't see the Instagram stuff, go over to our Instagram page, check it out. I updated us every day of the week to try to get us to 100. And then Tim decided to send a very inappropriate video.
You told me to send a video. I do what my Mafia podcast boss says.
Yes. I'm glad that you understand. There's a difference. I
sleep with the fishes if I don't do it.
You're not even an underboss. You're a consigliere.
Actually, they're the same rank. Underboss and consigliere, or whatever you pronounce it, are the same rank. They're equal rank.
Huh.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Okay, then you're just a soldier.
Your
then.
Intro into Mafia.
You're a soldier then.
You're like the 301 kind of class. I'm the 300.
You're a soldier.
No. Okay,
Yeah.
soldier.
You'll be a soldier.
That would be a put down.
I'll make somebody else the underboss.
Who's-
Billy, who didn't show up again
How
today.
can your co-host not be the underboss? I'm your co-host.
I also have to trust you.
Well, I'm sitting here across from you doing a podcast.
Yeah. But you have no control on the edit. You have no control on what we talk about. And you do none of the intros.
I do all of the intros.
You literally, you come, you show up.
I sing all
You
the
do
songs.
what I tell you to do.
All the
You do what I tell you
songs.
to do. And then
I
you go
record
home.
All the songs of
You paint houses every now and again.
I said that to the border agent again on Sunday. He chuckled and
You
laughed.
and your border agents, you
It's
went to the
accurate.
States 3 weeks in
What
a
do
row.
you do for a living? I paint houses. There's no more accurate, quicker way I could say what I do.
3 weeks
I
in a
paint
row,
houses.
you went to the United States of America. There might be a flag on you right now.
No, people can go. You go to the States as much as you want.
Yeah.
There's no rule against you going.
Yeah. There's a lot of people that go to the States three times in 3 weeks. Truck drivers, right?
Yeah.
Border patrol officers.
Yeah, they don't count. They work.
And drug dealers. they all do it every weekend.
That's the only people. Just those three groups of people. Only go once a
They do it 3 weeks in a row. Are you going this week?
week. No.
Okay. Since we made you laugh so much, because we got to get that 15 minutes of laughter in, let me make you cry for a second. How about that Bomber game?
What can we say that would make us talk about it the least?
Um,
Because the way we've lost 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? I just remember.
But we've gone 4 years in a row.
Okay, so you remember when John Elway was always the losing quarterback
Yeah, with the
Denver
Broncos.
Broncos?
Yeah.
And then so he lost, and then his final 2 years he won two
Super Bowls.
Sorry, am I blanking there? And he's seen his redemption story because the last two he won, whereas the other ones he lost, right?
Yeah.
But it's kind of the reversal here for Zach Collaros, right? He wins
He's not
2,
done.
and then he loses 2, but he's a bum.
He's not a bum.
But this is how,
Yeah.
this is what my friends text me.
Here's the thing with sports talk in Winnipeg.
So
They will find fault.
sports talk anywhere. Let's be honest.
They will find fault in anything.
Yeah.
And that's what drives people to listen, drives people crazy. I used to listen to TSN 1290 on the radio all the time here in Winnipeg.
Yeah.
I actually turned it off for the last 2 years it was on the air.
Right.
Because it was just so negative.
And there's a lot of Troy Westwood too.
I'm not going to even touch that.
You can't edit anything.
I'm not going to even touch it. Either way, Troy Westwood lost us a Grey Cup at one time, and he's lost his mind since then. We're going to move on
And
to
his hair.
the Monday Nighter and his hair. The Monday Nighter between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Kansas City Chiefs. The Philadelphia Eagles came out on top.
Yeah.
After you texted me halfway through the game saying, Greg's Philadelphia Eagles don't look so good. They're not mine, for one thing. They're not my Philadelphia Eagles. But I would cheer for them over the Chiefs just because I like Jason Kelce more than Travis Kelce.
They see you like Travis.
He doesn't bother me,
Yeah.
but Jason Kelce's funny.
Why are we picking which brother on social media we like for which teams we want to win? That
I don't know.
seems Are you a female?
But did you see?
Do you like whose butt is better? That's how you
Yeah,
cheer?
that's exactly. I like big butts. I cannot lie.
Like, it's an
Again,
arbitrary.
if we're not editing things, I'm going to just say whatever I want today.
It's no filter
It's
Wednesday.
no filter Friday.
Slash Friday. Which for me is any day. of the
Any day of the week, there's no filter. So, did you see the clip of the coach at the end telling the Kansas City Chief fans to, go fly a kite
Yeah.
in his own words?
I believe so. Yeah.
It was pretty funny. He's a little bit out there,
So,
but
yeah.
but the Eagles beat the Chiefs. And correct me if I'm wrong. Is this the first Chiefs loss since Taylor Swift started attending games?
I think they've lost. Since they started dating, right?
Yeah,
Since that first game where she was going crazy in the box, right?
yeah.
I thought they had lost a game, but they could. I could be wrong.
So she wasn't at the game.
Right.
She was supposed to be. This was billed as the family reunion game.
Right.
Where the parents were supposed to meet, and she was going to meet his parents, and he was going to meet her parents, all that kind of stuff. It was billed as a family reunion game, but she had a concert incident where she had to actually reschedule one of her concerts in Argentina, I believe, because it was like 130 degrees there one day, and there was an unfortunate incident. So she delayed her concert and had it later, and it was actually on the Monday, so she could go to the game. And then Jason Kelce decided to destroy his brother.
Well, they barely won.
Yeah.
I'm not sure this term destroy.
Oh, sorry. I was talking as if I was a Cowboys fan there for a second.
Okay.
You know, when the Cowboys win, it's always just a demolition of derbies. The Vikings lost.
This hilarious. Dobbs is 2-0 as a starter before this game. He's been crowned as the next great Viking quarterback.
Yeah.
And then he loses the game and he doesn't play the greatest. And he's like, he's a bum. How short is his leash going to be this week? He's like, what? Like,
wait, who said that?
It's all over social media.
Oh, okay.
Like this idea that
I thought you were getting this from local people.
No, he's a terrible quarterback. Like, what? Like, what have you? It's kind of like going back to the Caleres, wins 2, loses 2. What have you done for me? Sports fans are driving nuts because they have absolutely a short attention span. What have you done for me lately? Attitude.
Yeah,
and they just that just drives me insane.
But we're sports fans. But I think you can correct me if I'm wrong. I've changed as a sports fan since COVID.
Right.
I think that I like watching sports. I enjoy the act of going to a sporting event. But win or lose nowadays, I don't look at it the same way as I used to, where I used to be devastated by a loss. Like if the Bombers lost 4 years ago in the Grey Cup, I'd be like devastated. Now I'm like, my life keeps going. What's the difference?
Yeah, I emotionally pulled back as well a little bit.
But you still love sports.
Yeah. And this is why I haven't had a desire to go back to the Grey Cup after Calgary, because Calgary was a zenith.
Yeah. The pinnacle.
The pinnacle of what we just 29.
Zenith, like the TV from 1984. No,
zenith is also a term.
Is it?
Yes. And I had a Zenith.
Did you?
That's my first.
I had a Zenith TV too.
Anyway, but it's everything is not as good as it was in Calgary. Even if you win, you're not breaking a 29-year drought, and how we did it in that kind of fashion.
Yeah. It's almost become old hat to go 4 years in a row. It does stink to lose.
Yeah. There's I'm a Ryder fan on social media that was razzing that the Bombers lost. Are you allowed to do that when your team sucks and wasn't good enough to even get a sniff at the Grey Cup?
How were the Riders in the playoffs this year?
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, it's too bad the Riders aren't making it, though. I do appreciate when the Riders make the playoffs. I do appreciate when the Riders are competitive.
Yeah.
Because it's fun football.
Yeah.
And again, I used to take it very seriously if they would win or lose.
Yeah.
Now it's just fun football. We lost Labor Day this year, but that was a fun game to watch.
Yeah. Speaking of Saskatchewan and the Rough Riders, they're I know everyone thinks that the Riders are the best fans in the world.
Yeah.
People forget that in the 90s, they almost moved. They almost moved. They had issues with attendance. They weren't very good. Then all of a sudden they go through maybe a 8 to 10 year period recently where they were pretty good.
Yeah.
They get a new stadium and everybody, is they're the best fans in the world. People forgot about that in time now. And now we're getting to the place where they're not a good team.
Yeah.
They don't have Harris was injured, but they don't have a good quarterback, or they didn't this year. And people aren't coming to the games.
They're still the crown. They're still one of the crown jewels of the CFL. It'll still be Bombers, Riders, and then everybody else is a distant second, and then there's a distant third for places like Toronto and BC.
But this idea that the Rider fans are just in rain or snow, they're going to be great fans. They're
Yeah.
not, right? They're losing, and the attendance is showing it.
If you look back, Edmonton and Calgary used to have great fan bases as well. They just haven't had great teams. Like if you look at the Huffnagel years for Calgary,
Yeah.
they had great teams and they had great fans. It was fun to watch games in Calgary. Not fun to watch Bomber games in Calgary back then because they never won.
Yeah.
They couldn't beat them at home. But anyway, another thing for the NFL, the National Football League, America's team won this week. The Cowboys.
Now they're going to win again. They're going to win again this week. And we're taping on a Wednesday. Tomorrow's Thanksgiving in the United States.
Yeah, they play Thursday.
They play Washington.
Can you do me a favor?
Yeah.
Can you do this for Matthew?
Okay.
Can you look into that camera? I know this isn't going to post until Friday.
Yeah.
But can you guarantee a Cowboys win tomorrow, please?
Not even I can make this go away. But I guarantee the Dallas Cowboys will not just win, but they will whip Washington.
Okay.
Washington.
So
they are no longer the toughest division in football.
No.
Because Washington stinks and the Giants stink.
Yeah.
And they don't just stink. The Giants, Danny DeVito is now their quarterback.
I can actually smell the Giants from here. It's that bad.
No, that's
and we're in Winnipeg.
Yeah, that's the Meadowlands. I've been to Jersey.
But the Cowboys have the Commanders this week,
Yeah.
and then the Commanders the last week of the season. They have 5 games in between that.
Yeah.
Right now, if I remember correctly, they're 6-4.
The Washington is?
No, the Cowboys.
They're 6-4.
Or are they 7-4 now? 7-5?
Let's check it.
Let me check it out.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to get at with this is, will the Cowboys make the playoffs?
Oh, of course they'll make the playoffs.
You think so?
They have to disappoint all their fan base the whole year.
They can't just disappoint them for the.
If you don't make the playoffs, you can't. Like the best
So
thing.
they're 7-3.
Yeah,
So
that's what I figured.
they could finish the season 9-8.
Right.
Because they play, those 5 teams are all winning teams.
Yeah,
they're 0-2 against winning
they'll make
teams.
the playoffs. As much as we like to bug Cowboy fans, they're a good team. They'll make the playoffs.
Yeah.
And my favorite thing about Cowboy fans is that hope. Because if it wasn't for that hope,
Yeah.
you couldn't get that crushing defeat at the end of the year, where every year they're gonna win the Super Bowl. Every year it's our year, them boys, and every year a better team, San Francisco, whether it's the Eagles, will beat them
The Giants back in the day.
because Dallas Cowboys just aren't a complete football team.
So I have to admit, back when I was younger, I liked the Cowboys. But I liked the Cowboys the same reason why I liked the Niners, because they were winning, right? And I'm not going to say that it's not the reason. I liked them because I liked Troy Aikman, I liked Emmitt Smith, I liked Deion Sanders, I liked the Cowboys. Then I liked the Niners for a while. And truly, like, if I was to pick a team that I had to follow, I would follow Minnesota for the simple reason that it's 7 hours to drive there. If it was 7 hours to drive to Detroit, I would probably be a Lions fan.
Lions are good.
And Lions are good this year.
They're really good.
Normally, we would not want to be a Lions fan.
Yeah.
If we were closer to Cleveland, that would be horrible. If we were closer to...
Have you been to Cleveland? I've been to Cleveland once.
I've never been. I heard it rocks.
Yeah, it's a song. It's not that bad. Cleveland gets a bad rap.
What song is it from?
Cleveland Rocks. Well, it's from a TV show.
Yeah.
The Drew Carey show.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Current host of The Price is Right.
did they write the song for the show, or did they
Yeah.
take an existing
I think
song?
it's a written song.
Okay, I assumed they took
for the
an
show.
existing song.
I could be wrong.
No, you could be right.
No, there's no Billy.
Billy's got his shirt off.
Oh man. And let's move on to some baseball talk. There's been a lot of talk about the Blue Jays, and we do chat about the Blue Jays a little bit because they're our team. So we're going to dive into this real quick. I want to ask you your opinion on 2 different rumors that are happening. One just came out big today. The first one you know of, so I'm going to ask you first. Alek Manoah, traded, yes or no?
That he will be traded? Are you asking me if he will be traded?
Before the season?
No.
No?
No, I think he's going to be given one more shot. I hope he's given one more shot.
So
unless there's something in the organization, obviously I don't know.
So this is the speculation on it.
Right.
The speculation is he's going to get traded because the relationship with the organization is fractured.
Right.
So if that's the case, he doesn't play a game for the Blue Jays.
Right.
Now, if it's not true, you are just sucking back that water in front of the microphone so heavy. I'm like listening to it like, yeah, he's just sucking back his water. Anyway, if that's true that he has fractured his relationship with the Jays, I don't see him playing another game with the Jays.
So what he's fractured the relationship with the organization. Where's that from?
Well, he didn't show up to AAA when he was sent down. He didn't report.
Right. And do you remember the beginning of the previous year, there were reports that he wasn't taking his training seriously?
Yeah.
That started, right? Because he was coming off a season where he was a finalist for
The Cy Young.
The Cy Young.
Yeah.
A lot of people thought he should have won it. And then all of a sudden he said something like, well, don't bug me about this is my business or something.
And he's posting a ton of exercise videos right now of himself exercising
Right.
and getting in shape and
Right.
everything right now. So he is trying to prove himself.
I would love. You know what? Honestly, I'm good either way.
I like him. If he gets traded, I'll be disappointed.
Let's talk about Bauer for a bit.
No, I got another Jays rumor. Then you can bring up Bauer. Okay, bring up Bauer first.
So I'm okay if they trade Manoah.
Yeah,
it seems like there's just something there that's just not there anymore.
I think it's still there.
Yeah,
but go ahead.
I would love for them to go after Bauer.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised no team hasn't signed him yet.
There's something about teams these days that aren't signing players until right before spring training.
But why don't you get a start on the other teams? Like if you really want them, or are they just waiting?
I think they're waiting for market values
to go down.
No, because like
they're set at.
Otani hasn't signed yet,
right?
So his market value's there, and then
Otani's not a pitcher anymore, not this year.
But he will be again, and he's going to be the highest. He's going to be the highest paid player.
Will Otani?
Ohana. It means family.
Will Otani pitch and bat ever again?
The
idea
he
was
will. He'll pitch
the idea
again.
was doing both was so straining on his body that it led to the injuries.
He'll pitch again.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. I just don't. I think there's a reason why no one has done what he's done till now in history other than Babe Ruth.
Yeah.
Because it's just too stressful on your body.
He'll pitch again. I'm going to say he's going to pitch again.
Well, he might
and
pitch
he's going to get a record contract. And I'm looking forward to seeing which team gets it. If you think about it, whichever team gets this player, they're getting the Wayne Gretzky. They're getting the, well, you could say Babe Ruth back in the day.
Yeah.
They're getting the greatest player of our generation.
I think Otani does not. He might pitch and bat the start of the next season that he's able to do so, but I don't think it's going to be sustainable into the future. I think he might do it for a year and then it's just not going to.
Well, he's not doing it next year because he's Tommy John, but he will be back. Last rumor, and then we'll switch gears here. Bo Bichette, rumored to be going elsewhere, rumored to be on the market from the Jays. Are you pro keeping him or pro trading him if you can get something?
So my take on trades is I think pretty much every player is tradable. When you say, is this player going to be traded? Should this player be traded? Well, yeah, it depends on the what are you getting for that player?
Yeah.
You don't trade a freaking player just for the sake of trading the player.
No.
If you can get max value out of that player, then you would consider it. And if you're getting a value that you think is lower than what you think you can get or should get for him, you don't trade him.
Yeah.
So if they're getting the King's Hall for him, sure.
Yeah. I don't think they're going to get King's Hall. And I really think that his contract is great for the Jays. He's got 2 more years.
So why are these rumors happening?
Because there's teams that need middle infielders. The middle infield market is light this year. It's not like it was last year.
But you just finished saying they're not getting a Kings Hall, so why would you trade him? What is the motivation for the Jays organization to trade Bo Bichette?
They can get some other people, other pieces, minor league players, that type of thing. There's a lot of stuff that you can get.
The player that was the best Jay this year,
yeah,
you're going to trade him for minor league players.
Yeah, it happens to other teams.
That doesn't make any sense.
It happens all the time.
So my answer is no, I would not do that.
I know. I wouldn't either. I'm not saying you would, but I'm just saying it happens all the time. I'm asking, will it happen?
I have no idea, but let's say no.
Okay. Don't guarantee it.
Okay. No.
Can't wait to see that Cowboys win this
Before we
week.
switch gears,
Yeah.
Let's talk 2 seconds about the Jets. The Jets now are in a position where I believe they're in sole possession of second place in the Central.
Yeah.
They are playing similar, and if I'm not mistaken, they have a similar record to what they had at this time of the year last
They're
year.
11-5-2. They just beat the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Last year, everything went down the pot in the second half of the year. Do you believe that this Jets team is going to be more sustainable for this type of play throughout the rest of the year?
I do, and for one simple reason. There's players that are injured right now that will help them during the second half of the season, and it'll be like getting a traded player at the trade deadline.
Didn't we have injuries first half of last year too?
No, not like this.
Okay.
Not any major players that I can remember. I might be wrong.
So you think that the Jet where are the Jets going to finish in the Central this year?
Second.
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
I'll take it.
Yeah.
So
Dallas,
exactly where they are.
Dallas
is where they're
Winnipeg, St. Louis.
I won't guarantee. I should guarantee we won't.
Do not guarantee
I should guarantee
anything.
we won't win the Stanley Cup. All right, let's move on.
We'll return after these messages.
Are you tired of boring phone cases that can't handle a little adventure? Do you want to protect your screen from scratches, cracks, and arrows?
Arrows.
do you need a reliable way to charge your phone on the go?
Well, I guess if you answered yes to any of these 3 questions, then you need the Blu Element. Blu Element Cases is the ultimate brand for your cell phone accessories that are tough, stylish, and fun. Whether you need a case that can survive a drone drop, as you saw before, a screen protector that can deflect an arrow, which they also can do, or a wireless charger that can power up your phone in minutes. Blu Element has it all.
And you can trust Blu Element to keep your phone safe and ready for anything. Plus, they come in a variety of colors and designs to suit your personality. So don't settle for less. Get Blu Element today and unleash your inner adventurer.
Blu Element. The phone accessories that make you crack a smile and not your screen.
You can get 15% off with the link in the description or go to blueelement.com and use the code Greg and Tim.
Greg and Tim.
Greg and Tim. 50%
link.
off. 50% off.
15.
15, yeah.
You're saying it. You're saying it very fast. You were saying
15.
it sounded like 50. You're saying it very fast.
15.
15. Greg and Tim. BlueElement.com. BlueElement.com. .com.
Now back to the show.
Okay, so you want to switch gears. I want to get off the sports for a little bit. This is going to be probably our most sports-heavy show we've ever done. So if Adam's out there, because I know he loves the sports talk, I'm sure that he'll appreciate it.
At twice the speed.
At 2 times speed, as he told us this week. Let's see if he figures out what that is. Let's talk about it really fast to see if he can really figure this out. The tip of the tail. So when he hears that at 2 times speed, he'll be like, what did I say? I think we should really talk really fast so that when we do get back on the air with Adam, that he really has to look back and go, whoa, I got to slow this down back to 1.5.
Do you think people will unsubscribe when they see the video of my shirt off?
I unsubscribed.
You did. No, you didn't. Okay, Adam.
Yeah, thanks for getting Adam to unsubscribe.
I didn't get him to do anything. I didn't tell him to unsubscribe.
Yeah, you did.
No, I didn't. Roll the film on that.
So I sent you a video. It's called JFK: What the Doctor Saw. It was a documentary that came out
On Paramount
on
Plus.
Paramount Plus, and it's about the doctors in the emergency room after JFK got shot. So a little bit of a backstory. The reason why I sent it to you was I really think JFK stuff is super interesting.
Right.
I went to Dealey Plaza this year when I was in Dallas. I went to the museum up where Lee Harvey Oswald shot JFK from, and it's all set up with a whole bunch of museum stuff and like stuff where you can actually see Lee Harvey Oswald's wedding ring. You can see like the trajectory of the shots. You can it's got like a model of all of that. It's got some videos. It's got a whole bunch of stuff about JFK. It's basically a JFK museum at the start, and then it goes to the conspiracy of the murder, and you can actually stand at the angle in the window one floor above where Lee Harvey Oswald shot him, because the window where he shot him from is blocked off. You can't go there, but you can go one floor above and stand and see the angle. And on the ground are X's where the car was when the shots went off. And the distance that those shots had to have gone with the accuracy that they would have had to have been with in this rifle where he had to reload it after the first shot. Unbelievable that they think there was one shooter, in my mind.
Yeah, and there was an individual in the documentary that suggested or recollected people that suggested have you heard the single bullet theory that was floated out? Because after the Warren Commission suggested there was only one shooter.
Yeah.
The issue was there was two people that were hit. It wasn't just JFK. There was someone that was in his vehicle with him that was also shot.
Yeah.
And the idea is that if they're both shot, there must be two shooters because there's two shots. But one of the theories
there was two shots.
Yeah. But one of the theories that was floated out to say, no, there was only a single shot, but the shot ricocheted, and the same bullet that killed JFK also struck this other, I think it was a governor or something.
Yeah.
That he hit, which was like, I think there has been some since then people making fun of it that just met this magic bullet that hit.
Well,
bing, 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 like
when Keith Hernandez spit and hit
the Seinfeld episode,
hit Kramer in the face, and then it ricocheted and it hit George after that.
So that was one in the media. The
Keith Hernandez,
ex-New York
Yankee.
So in the documentary, it was really focusing on the doctors that were in the ER.
Yeah.
When they brought in JFK.
Yeah.
To work on whatever. He was dead at the time. I think they just took some time to pronounce him dead, but they tried to work on his body. So they physically saw his body at the time. Yeah. And the doctors who since then said that no, they thought because of certain angles that he was shot in the neck.
And then it came out the back.
There's no way that this could be a single shot. There was two shooters or two shots.
Yeah.
And that's the basic gist of those doctors. And again, they've since said that, but this was focusing on just their commentary about it. So I think the commission that they did afterwards to see if there was a cover-up, which in itself they said is kind of a cover-up because they just wanted to make sure that people thought that it was actually looked into.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I agree with this. I'm just
it's all conspiracy
to look into it. But that was the main point of that. And it's funny, 60 some odd years later, we're still talking about this. I would think that as we get, the kids start to get younger, does a 20-year-old really care about who shot JFK, or is it just middle-aged people? And this wasn't our lifetime either.
And it's funny, it wasn't in our lifetime. And when I was at the museum in Dallas, it was ages like 80 down to like my kids' age.
Yeah.
And my kids were like super into learning about what JFK was doing for the United States,
Yeah.
he started the space program.
Yeah.
Right. He was a lot of things to the American people, which made him like one of the most popular presidents of all time. And then he was gone.
Yeah.
And my kids actually put 2 and 2 together because they actually we went to the museum in Dallas. And then later in the trip, we actually went to Houston and we went to the Space Center Houston. And that's when they saw a video again of JFK talking about space. And Lyndon Johnson, was he the one that took over for JFK?
Yep.
So the Space Center in Houston used to be the Lyndon B. Johnson Space Center, I believe. Now it's called Space Center Houston. Or maybe it's called both. Maybe one area is called one area is called the other. But I think that it's going to live on forever in American history, like in terms of like who did it, because they don't have an answer.
Right. And of course, the 2 most popular presidents who were shot while they were still president would be Lincoln and JFK.
Yeah.
Right. I guess Lincoln is older, so I think over time people forget. And JFK is this century this last century. Sorry.
And Lincoln was, what was the guy's name that shot Lincoln?
John Wilkes Booth.
John Wilkes Booth.
Yeah.
So the guy that shot JFK was
Lee Harvey Oswald.
so weird.
They had
3 names.
Well, that's just coincidence.
And the guy that sits across from me is
Timothy Paul Sanders.
That's right. So it's weird, right? Like that all these murderers have 3 names.
I think back in the day, people would go by their middle name more than they do now.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
So
we don't know anyone that goes around talking about them with their middle name.
Yeah.
But I think back in the day they did.
So the other crazy thing about the Lee Harvey Oswald thing is that he actually was killed on his way from court, I believe. He was shot and killed.
Yeah.
And
he said he was a patsy. He wants to talk to people to set the record straight. And then all of a sudden he shot down. So the theory in that was he was set up to do this by other organizations of which we don't know anymore, and we probably never will. So
was there mob ties?
So even though, like as you say, JFK was extremely popular to some groups of people, but he was also very unpopular with other groups of people.
Yeah.
The CIA were very, very upset with him. And I'm not going to get into the reasons why.
Yeah.
The mafia in America, Cosa Nostra as they called, they're not called mafia here, were very upset over things in Cuba. Fidel Castro, members of Castro's organization, communists, that kind of thing. So there were a bunch of people that would like to see him
disappear.
Yeah. And so it would, like as you say, when Lee Harvey Oswald was killed, it's just a classic case of sending an enforcer to do something and getting rid of the evidence.
Tying up loose ends.
And so, and I do believe the Warren report did say there was probably some conspiracies that were happening.
Yeah.
Obviously didn't even say that they were, that does not mean to say that they came to fruition.
No.
But there were plans in place, or there are people that certainly wanted to, or made plans to try at least to kill him.
Yeah.
So we'll never know, but it's something that fascinates people to know that. So
if you're ever in Dallas, I know that you were thinking about planning a trip to Texas. If you're ever in Dallas,
we'll go to Dallas sometime. My wife's been there, but I haven't.
You've got to go to that museum.
Yeah.
It is unbelievable. And then after the museum, after you go through everything on the floor, and do all the interactive stuff up there and see everything that happened, go down to the grassy knoll, and that's where all the conspiracy guys are.
Right.
So they got like pamphlets and they've got books. They're selling stuff down there, and it just shows like the knoll, what it looked like back then, and what it looks like.
The problem with conspiracy theories is they're going to be a conspiracy. 99.99% of them will always remain a conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
You will never find out. Nothing will come out next week about definitively that will say who shot really shot JFK if there was a conspiracy. So it's always going to remain a mystery.
Yeah.
So if you want to hang on to that, that's fine too, I guess. One of the other ones that I really, really love is did the people that escaped from Alcatraz make it?
Yeah.
Because their bodies were never found. And there is some evidence that we just don't know.
There's some evidence that they made it.
And 8 years ago, I think there was a letter by one of the people who's dying of cancer or something like that that penned, "I am this individual who we did escape." And there's been pictures that have been sent.
Yeah.
And they have none of them have been disproven.
Yeah.
That's the crazy thing. No forensic analyst has come to say this picture is incorrect. It can't be them. This handwriting isn't theirs. No one has ever, and they've looked into it. No one's ever disproved it. Now, have they proved it? Not beyond a shadow of a doubt? No.
The fact that there's still conspiracy theories this day and age blows my mind.
Right.
But I can imagine why there is some from then, right? There's not so like if somebody was in an Alcatraz now, there'd be DNA samples, there would be like all this stuff where you can match up this guy now and say, yeah, he's definitively that guy. That's
I think back in the JFK days, I think you can get away with a whole lot more because there wasn't a social media scrutiny where everybody knows everything
about
and
everything.
If they don't know it, they'll find it out. Someone is going to unearth it. And some of these things, like it's a cover up and all these people know, there's too many media people that would like to.
You can say though that with social media, there's more conspiracy theories.
Yeah, but there's more people talking.
Yeah.
So there might be just as many conspiracy theories. You just hear about them all.
Yeah.
It's like anything else. We over exaggerate things on social media because, back in the day, if you had an opinion and you wanted to talk about your opinion, you could go to the bar
or a coffee shop
and talk to 3 people.
Yeah.
And now you can talk to 1 trillion people at once or whatever it is.
Joe,
right?
Jim, and Paul.
At the exact same time, and half of them are morons.
Just like Joe, Jim, and Paul.
Joe, Jim, and Paul.
Which 3 were the morons?
Yeah, exactly. Which is part of what drives me nuts about social media. So I do like the Facebook memories, though. You see the cheesecake one from this morning?
I saw the cheesecake one. And happy 4-year anniversary.
Right. You said, I missed that. 4 years.
4 years.
And I believe you said that you go on 5-year contract. So I'm in my option. I'm in my option year.
No, we can do an extension.
During my option year, though, that's when we would negotiate.
That's correct.
And this is why we're doing the podcast. You're seeing how much you still like me.
That's correct.
After we meet every week to record podcasts and argue and such and such.
This will be a great unedited podcast.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to not editing this.
It's just laziness. That's all it is.
Anyway, we got our last topic today. It's another sports topic. So
Sort of.
It's a sort of sports topic. It's a sports topic, a social topic, a city topic. The Oakland Athletics have all but almost confirmed that they're moving to Las Vegas. This will be the 3rd team in 5 years that moves to Las Vegas.
Yep.
The Raiders, that move. The Raiders left for Las Vegas. The A's are leaving for Las Vegas. The Warriors left for San Francisco. And Oakland is officially the first city to lose 4 major franchises.
Yeah, people forget about the Golden Seals.
Yeah.
My birth year, 1976.
You want to know something that's super weird? Because I've been looking into a little bit of this.
Yeah.
And congratulations on your birth year. I don't want to
My
gloss
47
over
years.
that.
You always say that.
I don't want to gloss over that. But so the Golden Seals left in 1976. They moved to Cleveland.
Yeah, that's how bad it was. They moved to Cleveland.
The Cleveland Barons.
Yeah.
And then the Cleveland Barons, after 2 seasons, merged with the Minnesota North Stars.
Yeah.
And then the Minnesota North Stars moved to Dallas.
Right.
And now Minnesota has a expansion team.
Yeah.
The Oakland A's started in Kansas City. Actually, sorry. The Oakland A's started in Philadelphia as the Philadelphia Athletics, moved to Kansas City as the Kansas City A's, then moved to Oakland as the Oakland A's. So Oakland's not losing a team that only they've known.
Yep.
They're losing a team that has been lost twice already before. This will be the fourth city that the A's have lived in. And the Raiders. Oh my goodness. The Raiders. LA Raiders. I grew up with the Los Angeles Raiders.
Yeah, me too.
But before they were the Los Angeles Raiders, they were the Oakland Raiders. Then they became the Oakland Raiders again. Now they're the Las Vegas Raiders. What's up with Oakland? You tell me what you think the deal is.
So first of all, it's not like if Winnipeg loses a team, like when we lost the Jets, you have to drive 7 hours to go watch a hockey game, right?
Yeah.
There's still sports teams there.
The San Jose Sharks
San
for
Francisco,
hockey.
San Jose, and Oakland are within an hour drive, all three of them.
Yeah.
Right? So you have sporting things. So as a sports fan, not such a big deal. By the way, did you know San Francisco plays their football games closer to San Jose than Oakland or San Francisco?
Yeah.
San Francisco does not play in San Francisco.
They're just called the San Francisco.
Yeah, they're called San Francisco, but they don't play in San Francisco.
They actually, I watched a video about their stadium.
Yeah, Levi's or whatever.
And their stadium was actually, so it was designed for San Francisco. And then the deal for the land, I think, fell through. So they took the design and put it in San Jose. But when they took the design and put it in San Jose, they didn't take for account the difference in where it was situated. So now there's one side of the entire stadium that is absolutely beating hot for the whole game. No roof, no cover, nothing. And they can't put a roof or cover on this design.
No.
The design was built for San Francisco.
Yeah.
And then they just plopped it in and said, oh, and also the way it's designed so it's open in the one end because that was supposed to look onto like the San Francisco skyline.
Yeah.
It looks onto nothing.
Yeah.
It looks onto like industrial park.
So if you drive by the stadium, it's off in the distance. Like, is that the stadium? No, it can't be. There's nothing there. It's like in the middle of nowhere. So that would make sense.
Yeah. So they just took the design and plopped it over there. But so what you're saying basically is Oakland isn't hurting because they leave.
As a city, obviously they might be. I've been to Oakland, not the greatest place. There are a lot of undesirable areas. Actually, it was kind of funny. We actually stayed in Oakland because being that it isn't as nice, it's cheaper to stay at. San Francisco is quite a bit more expensive.
Yeah.
And it's not very far. Like it's really maybe a 20-minute drive into San Fran. But we stayed at a pretty decent hotel. But then when we went to have a Christmas Eve dinner and we were driving back, we actually got a 15-seater. We had for 3 families. There was 14 of us. We had a 15-seater van. It was kind of fun. Or loud or annoying, whoever we want to talk to. But we pulled into the parking lot and one of our friends, the plumber's wife.
Yep.
He all of a sudden she looked out the window. There was a homeless person with his ass out, and she was whoa. So now when we think of Oakland, we think of
the plumber's wife seeing butt.
Yeah,
for the first time.
Her response was hilarious.
That was the first time she's ever seen butt.
So it's not. I drove around a bit in Oakland. It's not the nicest place.
Yeah, and they haven't had the nicest stadiums.
Yeah.
So like the Raiders and the A's both played in the dumpiest stadium in the leagues.
It's not very nice.
No, it's crumbling.
We stayed right across the street from that. It was a
Ring Central Stadium. It's called now.
Yeah.
Oakland Coliseum. It's got what's his name? What's the owner of the Raiders?
Mark Davis.
Yeah, they call it. What do they call it? Al Davis Mountain or something like that.
Al Davis, is he still the owner?
No, his son is now. Mark.
Al Davis passed away, right?
Yeah, Mark Davis is his son. Yeah. He has a great haircut. I don't know if you've seen that one. But they had a horrible stadium. And like the Golden State Warriors left.
And I didn't know till when I went there that the
Golden
State played in Oakland. I was like, wait a minute, that's Oracle.
I know, right? And we both didn't really get that Golden State Warriors were playing in Oakland. Yeah. It makes sense now when you see the jerseys and stuff like that. Didn't they say something? Didn't they say the land on their jerseys?
I don't know.
Or was that Cleveland?
Oh,
one of the two teams had a jersey that said the land on it, which would make sense if it was Oakland.
Yeah, I can't remember because they have land.
No, because Oakland.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, the Oakland. Just what do you go to Oakland for now? Drugs? Is that why you're going to the States this weekend?
I'm sure I'm not going this weekend. I'm sure there's some redeeming parts of Oakland. Like every city has some redeeming aspects to it.
Even Winnipeg.
Even Winnipeg.
What's Winnipeg?
But I lived in Winnipeg my whole life, and when I went to Oakland, I was
Winnipeg
like,
looked okay.
Winnipeg looked okay.
Even though Oakland's like on the ocean and it's got like it's on the other end of the Golden Gate Bridge.
Yeah, it was like the bad side of the street.
It was like Arlington Bridge.
And San Fran. I love San Fran.
It was like going from the one end of Arlington Bridge to the other.
Do you know the San Jose Sharks?
Except both ends were the same.
Did you know the San Jose Sharks played in San Francisco?
Yeah, I told you that.
And did you know that the Cow Palace is where they played?
Yeah.
And you know the Cow Palace is still there?
It is.
Yeah.
Isn't it used for livestock? Isn't that why they called it the Cow Palace?
Like trade shows and
livestock shows and stuff like that.
And I drove by, like, hey, that's the Cow Palace. I had never. That's the first time I went to San Fran. I was like, so I walked around, took some pictures of it. It was kind of cool.
The Sharks have played in some weird places. So like,
that would have been to play hockey in there. Oh my gosh, that would have been insane.
Yeah, it was some of the American stuff really. Especially the West Coast, it really blows my mind where they played and stuff. Speaking of weird arenas, do you remember Ottawa's original arena? Remember the upper deck was like a wall?
I had not been to Ottawa in those years, but I heard about it.
Do you remember it in the pictures and stuff like that?
Yeah.
It was weird.
Yes, the far wall, yeah.
The one side of the arena was just a wall, basically.
Yeah.
It was strange. I always remember that as a child to be strange. Also, speaking of sports teams where I didn't know where they were from, I always thought the Chicago Bulls were on the West Coast.
What?
I know. It's a super weird thing. I think it's like, we can go back to the old Mandela effect situation.
Chicago Bulls.
I know. It's weird.
Chicago.
When I think of championship basketball teams, I don't think of a team that is within 13 hours of driving distance from Winnipeg. Do you know what I mean?
No,
like when you think of Chicago, where it's located, when you think as a child, the big cities are New York, New Jersey, and Boston on the one coast, LA, San Francisco, San Diego on the other coast, right? Yeah. Like, you didn't
think there was some bigger cities in the middle of the country?
No. But you know what?
I always assumed there was something there.
But you know what, though? Like, if you ask a American where Calgary is in Canada, they won't be able to point it out either. So
yeah, but
I don't feel bad.
Americans are geographically challenged outside of the U.S.
This would have been before I was geographically educated. Educated?
Yeah.
Educated.
It still says Chicago in their name, though.
I just didn't know where Chicago was.
Oh, you didn't didn't know?
I didn't know where Chicago was.
But do you remember like the movies like Uncle Buck where it was all set in Chicago?
Again, didn't know where Chicago was.
Okay.
And you have to remember, I was a child.
Think the Globe.
I was much younger.
Remember the Globe in your elementary school? You just spit the Globe and you're like, Chicago is right here.
So, again, I want to thank everybody for subscribing. I want to thank everybody for watching the show. This is going to be a very unedited show. So if you enjoyed it this way, let us know in the comments.
And if you did not enjoy it this way, let
us know in the comments.
Oh, we just lost a subscriber.
No. Put it back on.
That's 99. I just saw a notification.
No. Let me double check that.
No, I'm just kidding.
That is... Fake news. Fake news.
Hey, Greg, before we sign off, I think Christmas is coming in 5 weeks. We talked about that, right?
Do you like my Christmas bowling alley?
Yeah, but we know it's right around the corner.
Yep.
You know how many we can count the days to it? Is our trip to Florida to watch?
Oh, it's coming up.
Watch Manoah come back to redeem himself at spring training.
How amazing will that be?
Yeah,
I'd be pumped.
We can count the days,
and because it's spring training, maybe after the game we can go for a beer with Manoah.
Yeah, well, he might be working at the bar, so we can just go.
He seems like such a jovial guy.
He's working out, so maybe he's less jovial. Maybe he's not having as much beer.
Or as much fun.
Yeah. All right.
Who else do you want to have a beer with when you go down there?
Well, first of all, I don't drink beer.
Yeah. Okay. So
How about if I want to have wings with somebody?
Yeah. If you could pick one Blue Jay to have wings with, who would you pick?
Like current Blue Jay?
Let's
Vladdy for sure.
Let's say 2016 and on.
Right.
Who would you pick? Like current generation.
Vladdy.
Vladdy?
Yeah.
Even though you won't understand a word he says.
He seems like a real
He'll speak
guy.
Dominican to you the whole time.
And he seems like a guy who
Spanish.
He seems like a guy who would buy you beers.
Yeah, maybe.
Like he'd be like buy for the table.
You know who I would pick?
Who's that?
My guy's way better than yours.
Yeah.
John Gibbons.
Oh, right. Or Greg's on.
Greg's on.
Yeah.
Greg's on would be fantastic to have beers with.
Yeah.
Wings with. Whatever he wants to do with us. No, that doesn't sound right either.
No edits.
No edits. Greg's on would be a fantastic guy to chat with. He's like, to me, Greg's on was the Don Cherry of baseball when he was on. He wore the suits. He was fantastic to watch. I enjoyed watching Greg's on. Anyways, guys.
Or we could have burritos with Hazel May.
Or burritos. Get me my burrito. Where's my burrito?
I was funny because
Hazel May and her burritos.
No, because we were watching the pregame thing.
Yeah.
Where Hazel May, I can't remember which game it was, and we're peeking over their shoulder as they're doing it.
This was the home opener. Yeah.
And I see the Hazel May's a gopher girl or whatever, and she's on her phone and she's like, Hazel May needs a burrito stat, and they were like in big bold letters. She really needed a burrito.
Oh, sorry, Hazel. If you listen, Hazel, we appreciate your coverage of the Blue Jays, and if we see you, we'll get you a burrito.
And Greg likes burritos, so he knows what to get.
Thanks for watching this episode. Thanks for checking it out. And if you're new here, remember to like, subscribe, and share it with all your friends. Fill their earballs with the Greg and Tim Show.
Tally-o.
Tally-o. That's not the song that was playing. We're going to play the song from the show that I talked about. Cleveland Rocks.
Right.
Yeah. So it was a good show, buddy. I liked it. It was good. Unedited.
Was it good?
Unfiltered Timothy.
Halfway through the episode, I started to go.
Thanks for watching the Greg and Tim Show podcast. See you again next week. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with all your friends. Sharing is caring.